We have a quarterback competition. Drake Maye gets his first practice reps with the starters, plus some new offensive line combinations. All of that and more here on Patscast.
Patscast tuned in loud. Drake Maye breaking the cloud. Jacoby no longer on the prowl.
Welcome to Patscast. I'm Brad Whitaker. It's safe to say, for the first time really since the Pats drafted Drake Maye, there is some hope and optimism among the fan base. And that certainly was the case today with Drake Maye getting his first starter reps for the first time on the practice field. He's gotten reps before in some of the preseason games with the starters, but this was the first time he was really working with a starting offensive line, with some starting receivers there on the training camp practice field, and that's great to see. I'm going to get to all that in just a second, but first, take advantage of this special offer from ExpressVPN. Visit expressvpn.com/Patscast to get 3 months off of a 12-month annual plan. Again, that's expressvpn.com/Patscast. It's a no-brainer. You need a VPN in 2024 to protect your data, protect yourself from hackers, from stealing your passwords, your credit card information. Again, take advantage of this special offer, expressvpn.com/Patscast. But like I said, Drake Maye really impressed a lot of people, even if his stats weren't great on Thursday's game against the Philadelphia Eagles. He looked good out there. He looked the part. His footwork was tremendous, really. I mean, there was that deep throw to Javon Baker, which he really should have caught, but just watch Drake Maye's movement in the pocket. Looks Tom Brady-esque out there. Yeah, he doesn't have the Tom Brady throw. It's a little Bledsoe-y. I see Bledsoe every time I see Drake Maye throw the ball, but we know the athleticism, the ability to extend plays, move with his feet, and the arm strength that Drake Maye brings to the table. And he's really making a strong case to be the starter for the Patriots, not just at some point during the season, but in Week 1 against the Cincinnati Bengals. And it really does seem like right now Jerod Mayo and Alex Van Pelt have ignited a real quarterback competition. And I don't know how much of that has to do with Drake Maye. Certainly he's progressed, but I think a lot of that has to do with the struggles that we've seen from Jacoby Brissett, particularly over these last 2 to 3 weeks. He's had some accuracy issues. He doesn't look very mobile out there. He's a pocket passer now. He's very different from the rookie Jacoby Brissett, who was running option plays when Tom Brady and Jimmy Garoppolo weren't on the field. He's kind of a pocket passer, has struggled with accuracy, and of course, he had that red zone interception on Thursday, which I think if he had done in a regular season game, probably would have been a pick six. The safety just kind of gave up on the play because the game didn't matter. But Drake Maye starting to get some first-team reps, really good to see. Now, mind you, this was a very light 90-minute practice. The Patriots were not in pads, they were in shells. But if you're going to start experimenting with new rotations, that's probably the way you want to start. You want to have a light practice, get Drake Maye familiar with taking snaps from guys like David Andrews and rotating in and out the offensive line and trying to figure out the best combination there. And I would assume as the week progresses and we head into the final preseason game against the Washington Commanders, Patriots will have pads on. They will experiment a lot more, and then ultimately they will evaluate and make the decision at who should start, not just at quarterback, but on that offensive line. But like I said, Drake Maye did get some first-team reps. He did start with the second unit, but by the end of practice, he was starting to take reps behind David Andrews for the first time on the practice field, and it was half speed. It was not full speed, full contact in pads, but they also were rotating in different offensive linemen. It did start with kind of the traditional O-line the Patriots have had over the last 3 weeks or so. God forbid, Vidarian Lowe at left tackle, Sidy Sow at left guard, David Andrews at center, Mike Onwenu at right guard, and then Chuks Okorafor at right tackle. But within 3 plays, they started rotating in some of the rookies, and they actually kicked over Mike Onwenu to right tackle for the first time we've seen in training camp. So a lot of firsts today. Rookie Caden Wallace came in and played left tackle. Layden Robinson, who's making a real case to be in that starting offensive line. He was the 4th round guard that the Patriots drafted. He got some action at left guard. Sidy Sow was moved to right guard. And then at right tackle was Mike Onwenu with David Andrews at the center position. And as I've said on the podcast recently, I think that might be the optimal starting lineup for that offensive line. You have Caden Wallace. You drafted the guy so you think he can move from right tackle, where he played at Penn State, over to left tackle. He got some action there. I'm not as concerned about the guards. I thought Sidy Sow would stay at left guard, and then you'd put Layden Robinson at right guard, but it looks like it's the other way around. And then, of course, you have David Andrews, and then Michael Wenu, who's an all-pro caliber right guard, but a potential Pro Bowl right tackle, and he practiced all offseason as a right tackle, was paid as if he was a right tackle. He's finally getting some action there, and I hope that will ultimately be the starting offensive line, because I know Vidarian Lowe has supposedly had a good camp, but he's kind of skinny out there, and he gets beat quite often. He got beat and had Drake Maye's head nearly taken off in the preseason game. Patriots, we all know how it's going to work out if Vidarian Lowe is at left tackle. But it's nice to see that Gerard Mayo and Alex Van Pelt are starting to move away from this seniority process of prioritizing guys that have been there longer over the rookies, even if the rookies are playing better. That's starting to finally change. And really, really great to see that. Jalen Polk also got some reps with the starters. He's been primarily working with the second team. Jalen Polk needs to be out there in that starting lineup. You know, I know Tyquan Thornton has been one of the more consistent receivers during camp, but first of all, we know he has some injury issues. He has trouble staying on the field, but he just hasn't been very consistent when he's in actual real game situations, whereas Jalen Polk really looks like a guy who's ready to start week one. And as I've heard many comparisons to Jacoby Myers, he's that type of player, has that type of size. I think he needs to be in that starting lineup, and it looks like the Patriots are at least moving in that direction. Javon Baker, however, looks like he was demoted, took reps mostly with the third team, did see some second team reps, but Baker did struggle quite a bit on Thursday after getting off to a decent start. But I gotta say, Javon Baker, we know the athleticism, we know the playmaking ability, the catch radius, all that he brings to the table. But when you watch his clips when he was at University of Central Florida, he looked a lot bigger out there than he does now going against NFL defenders. And I actually think it's quite the opposite for Jalen Polk, because he was playing opposite guys like Roma Dunze with a lot of size at the University of Washington. Jalen Polk looks like a big NFL receiver, whereas Javon Baker looks a bit small and got pushed around quite a bit against those Philadelphia DBs on Thursday. I think there's a lot of hope, a lot of potential with Javon Baker. I think there is a real future there potentially as a starting boundary X wide receiver, but he's getting pushed around a little bit, and he got pushed out of bounds on what should have been a very good deep throw from Drake Maye on Thursday. It's going to take him a little bit more time than I think some of us expected, but he'll make the team. I have no doubt about that. He'll get snaps, but he's not quite at the level where he's ready to start versus a guy like Jalen Polk, who is finally starting to get those first team reps. So this is really nice to see, as I've said many, many, many times here. Drake Maye, I think he's better than Jacoby Brissett. I'm going to say that right now, because I just have not been that impressed by Brissett, to be honest. You know, I've been going off of everything that I've heard over the way he's developed since we last saw him in New England 7-8 years ago. I've heard he's a very competent veteran. He can get in and out of the huddle quickly. He's an accurate thrower of the football. He's a good leader. But in the limited action that we've seen from Brissett, that just hasn't been the case. And look, maybe he is, at best, the 30th best quarterback in the NFL, but that puts him as a borderline starter and backup. And if Jacoby Brissett is your second string quarterback, like that's as good of a backup as you're ever going to get, but you have a very low tier starter out there. And the Patriots didn't draft Drake Maye to be the 30th best quarterback in the NFL. They drafted him because they know he has the potential to be a real superstar in this league. And if Drake Maye is outperforming Brissett, which it looks like he did today, I don't see a reason not to put him out there. You don't have to treat him with Mac Jones kid gloves. And I get it. The offensive line, it's Swiss cheese. They're still trying to figure that out. You don't want to put a rookie behind an O-line where he's going to get beat up and he's going to lose confidence. But that's all Drake Maye has ever known. His entire career at North Carolina was done behind a poor offensive line. This guy is resilient. He's a guy who takes hard hits and bounces back the next play and is able to use his legs like nothing happened, is able to throw downfield, make the correct reads. I think what I'm most impressed with Drake Maye, which he didn't seem to be that good at in college, is quickly getting through his first, second, third, fourth, even fifth reads on the field. He does that faster than any rookie I've ever seen. And Mac Jones, by the way, was pretty good at that coming into New England. He just had some limitations with his arm strength, his athleticism. He was a bit of a pocket passer. But if you look at the situation the Pats are in right now, where they don't exactly have a reliable offensive line, you want a guy who's going to be able to extend plays and use his feet and make the correct decisions. And Drake Maye was that guy on Thursday, whereas Jacoby Brissett, he's not going to be able to escape pressure, escape the pocket in the same way that Maye or even Joe Milton can. And even the plays where Drake Maye threw the ball away were smart decisions. There was nobody open. He went through his reads. He escaped the pocket and then was able to throw the ball out of bounds. He did that twice on Thursday. Even on the negative plays, Drake Maye looked like he's progressed quite a bit since even the first time we saw him in preseason action where he only took just a few snaps. I think the Patriots really need to start thinking about starting him week 1. And it also should be noted, like, this is an entertainment business. This is football. You want the fans to be excited about something. You want them to start buying jerseys. Like, if you take out Drake Maye, which jersey are Patriots fans going to buy? Like, Jalen Polk isn't known that much at this point. Javon Baker isn't. Matthew Judon, I'm sure, sold a lot of jerseys. He's gone now. You need a guy like Drake Maye out there who's going to bring in some revenue to this organization. And look, if he's outperforming Jacoby Brissett, there's no reason not to fast track him and get him ready. And are you really fast tracking him at this point? No, you're just putting the best quarterback out there on the field. And he was the best quarterback today. In 11 on 11s, Jacoby Brissett went 6 of 9. Drake Maye went 7 of 9. When you count 7 on 7s, Jacoby Brissett went 9 of 13. Drake Maye went 11 of 13. By the way, Drake Maye in 7 on 7s is incredible. Like, he is, when he has no pressure in front of him and he's just going through the reads and making the right throws, like, he looks like a polished veteran out there. And I think that's often the case for young quarterbacks because, you know, starting in middle school, quarterbacks play 7 on 7s. They go to 7 on 7 camps in middle school and high school. They play a lot of 7 on 7 in college. Every NFL team emphasizes 7 on 7 in practices. And that's also part of the reason offensive lines aren't as good as they were, because there isn't a lot of contact happening in today's NFL practices where they're trying to protect players. And now you have all the receivers and the quarterbacks being brought up, getting used to 7 on 7s, whereas offensive linemen don't get any real action until they're in high school, and even then there are some limitations there. So Drake Maye, when he has time to throw, when he has protection, is outperforming Jacoby Brissett, and Jacoby Brissett had some protection in Thursday's preseason game. He had time to throw the football and still didn't always make the correct decisions. That red zone interception that he threw, there were other receivers open in the end zone, and he didn't throw it to them. Whereas I think if Drake Maye had been in that situation, he would have seen that safety and immediately gone to another read. That's what we're seeing right now. That's not something you see from a rookie versus a veteran. So I think a lot of this has to do with Drake Maye progressing more than we thought and Jacoby Brissett not being as good as we thought. And that's why I think right now we're starting to see an actual open competition. So you can see the confidence growing in Drake Maye. He's also the type of quarterback that the more experience that he gets, particularly in a single game, you know, sometimes he struggled in the first quarter in college, but when he got into the second, third, and fourth quarter, that's when you saw Drake Maye really shine. He's a guy that's going to need extended reps. He's a guy that you need to put out there and in real game situations, and Pats seem to be finally prioritizing that. Had some great plays today. Opened 11s with a clean under center play action rep where he hit Tyquan Thornton on a deep sit route against his own defense. Worked through his reads very quickly. Hit KJ Osborne on a nice over route. He beat a blitz with a slant throw to Jalen Polk. I think he's ready. like, is he ready in terms of, like, he's not gonna make mistakes. No, he's gonna make a ton of mistakes out there. But is Jacoby Brissett not gonna make mistakes? He made mistakes the other day. You got to get the guy out there. He's on a rookie contract, a 4-year contract with a potential 5th-year option. You have some salary cap space to work with over the next few seasons where you don't have to pay your quarterback. Now is the time to take advantage of that and get him out there. I think this is a throwaway season, right? The Patriots aren't making the Super Bowl this year. But if he's clearly the better quarterback, which he's been the last couple of weeks compared to Jacoby Brissett, you got to put him out there. You got to put the team in the best position to win. If they make the playoffs this year, somehow, with an inferior offensive line, and with Drake Maye really developing into something, and Jalen Polk and Javon Baker getting some real experience out there, then we can head into 2025 and address the holes at tackle or at guard, or need to get another big-name receiver, or wherever the holes are. They can address those next year, and then Drake Maye is off and rolling, and then suddenly you have a year 2 quarterback who looks Pro Bowl caliber out there. I mean, Mac Jones made the Pro Bowl his rookie year. These guys can be very good very quickly. And Drake Maye's footwork, night and day difference from what it was in college, from what it was at rookie minicamp. His mechanics look a lot better. Still a little awkward throwing the football. He does throw it sidearm and do some weird things out there, but you see the athleticism. He almost got sacked the other day and figured out how to check down off balance, throwing in. Basically, he jumped and threw the ball in the air and got a helmet penalty, 15-yard penalty downfield. Whereas I think if that were Jacoby Brissett out there, that play would not have happened on Thursday. So, going to be interesting over the coming days to see just how many more reps Drake Maye continues to get with the first-team starters. And you kind of know what you're getting with Jacoby Brissett. I would love to see Drake Maye just start on Sunday and let that be the evaluation. Let him run a half with the whole first team and let that be the evaluation on whether he should start week 1 against Cincinnati. Not saying that's going to happen. I don't think this was ever part of the plan. I think Alex Van Pelt wanted to sit Drake Maye for at least half the season, but Jacoby Brissett has not been impressive, and Drake Maye has been impressive. So that changes things a little bit, and it's nice to see the Patriots starting to tweak things, especially with the offensive line, which is the most important unit out there, whether it is Jacoby Brissett or Drake Maye. So really great to see that. Some concerns today in terms of the players that were missing in practice. O'Shane Zimenez, I think I'm finally pronouncing his name correctly. He did not practice. Nick Leverett, the backup center, didn't practice. Calvin Anderson was out. Hunter Henry missed practice once again. He didn't play on Thursday. Josh Uche and Sean Wade also were not on the field Thursday. And it's slim pickings right now at tight end. Austin Hooper left practice about midway through, seemingly with a leg injury. He's been the best tight end on the field. So that just kind of leaves Mitchell Wilcox, who is coming from Cincinnati, has not been very impressive, had a number of drops in the first preseason game. He's basically your starting tight end right now. And then, of course, Jaheim Bell, the rookie that they brought in and drafted in the late rounds. He's kind of a Swiss Army knife out there. He isn't really a traditional tight end. Kind of ran running back a little bit in college. A little undersized, kind of a receiver / tight end / running back hybrid. So don't feel very good about that if week 1, the 2 starting tight ends are Mitchell Wilcox and Jaheim Bell. But I think Hunter Henry will probably be back out there, and hopefully this injury to Austin Hooper isn't too bad. Again, it was a light practice. Dietrich Wise did have a sack today, with the quarterbacks in the red jersey, so the quarterbacks didn't go down. But some injury issues starting to crop up here as we head into the final week of the preseason. But there was some good news. Jonathan Jones and Marcus Jones were both back out there on defense. After Christian Gonzalez, the Patriots have some depth at the cornerback position, but if you don't have John Jones or Marcus Jones out there opposite Christian Gonzalez, Patriots defense might get eaten alive, even if they do have a good pass rush, even if they do have good safeties out there, good linebackers. You really need at least one of those guys, John Jones or Marcus Jones, out there, or else that defense may not be as good as we expect. But good to see them back out on the field, and good to see Drake Maye finally getting first-team reps, and I think we're going to have a real quarterback competition, and the debate is only going to continue over the coming days and weeks as we head toward week 1 of the regular season. Can Drake Maye win the job? I think he has a real chance at this point. It might be a coin flip. It might be 50-50. He continues to improve. He continues to outperform Jacoby Brissett. I think he will win the job because Brissett just hasn't been that impressive, and Drake Maye is more developed than we thought. Despite all the media headlines, despite the national media essentially writing him off 2 weeks ago, saying Joe Milton was the better quarterback, no. Drake Maye has been getting a bad rep, and he finally showed on Thursday, and he's finally proved himself to be earning some of those first-team reps. So going to be interesting. You're going to want to stay up to date by subscribing to Pat's Cast. Be sure to like this video and hit that notification bell, or subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. And we'll see you very soon with more New England Patriots coverage.
Pat's Cast tuned in loud. Drake Maye breaking the cloud. Jacoby no longer on the prowl. Feeling the crowd. Stadium bright lights glare. Fans breathing the same air. Sidelines he don't scare. Will his firing ignite the flare? Oh, Pat's Cast, the rookie soar. Who learned to roar? Who take the floor? Can young blood beat season core? Pat's Cast, we want more, more, more. Snaps from Andrew's palms. Mayo speaking in psalms. May throws with calm. Can he hold the bomb? Echoes of the crowd, hearts beating time. Legends born in the grind on the climb. Will Alex Van Pelt give it? Drake Maye is coming, ready to win. Oh, Pat's Cast, the rookie soar. Who learned to roar? Who'll take the floor? Can young blood beat season core? Pat's Cast, we want more, more, more. Jacoby's eyes cold steel. Experience a done deal. But May's got that seal. Future or past, what's real?